to another broadcast from swug.org. Your information technology answers are here.
Hi everyone, I'm Stephen Weinkoop, and welcome to another edition of Swug TV with Laura Rose. She's here today talking about what happens when the workload becomes excruciating. My words, not hers. Welcome to the show, Laura.
Thanks, Steve.
So what do? You know, the stuff just keeps coming and more, especially in today's world where there's a lot of consolidation of duties and a lot of consolidation of expectations and everything. How do you work in that kind of environment? How do you get through that?
Yes, actually, so I had a question just around that, and they said, well, I really like the job. It's just getting too hard. Do I stay or do I go? And one thing I wanted to emphasize to everybody out there is that your manager or your business or your company is kind of like a blind waiter. They're going to keep filling your glass or your cup until you say when. So you got to take on that responsibility to say, okay, I don't want this on my plate, or I can't handle it right now. And a lot of people feel a little bit guilty. I say, if I say no, I'm not going to be a team player. But think of it this way: if you say yes and don't get it done, you're not a team player.
Yeah, very true. That's one of the things I do see. A lot of people keep taking stuff, and they never cry uncle, but then they start not getting things done. And that's almost more painful than if they had said no in the first place, because you don't have the opportunity to give it to somebody else or to deal with it differently.
You can't manage a situation when it's too late like that.
Right. So what do you do when the boss comes to you and says, here's another project? What do you do?
What I found very effective is when your manager or your boss comes with another project, review everything that you still have on your plate and say, great, I'd love to help you with this, and this is what I'm currently doing, and here's the priority. Where does your new task fit in this priority list? What needs to be taken off? What do we need to scramble around? Which ones have an extended due date, and have that discussion with them.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
8 times out of 10, the manager has forgotten all the other things he's put on your plate.
Yeah, very, very true. And it might be the case, like you said, that the deadlines can be extended a little bit, or something can be dropped off. You know, if something has become a lot less important than when it was first put into the system or whatever. So there's a lot of opportunities there.
And time actually is a great sorter for your filter, because what was really important today may be obsolete tomorrow, so why have it on your to-do list right now? So your manager can really be effective in continually sorting your to-do list. Don't just keep adding stuff to your to-do list. Continually, ask them, okay, what's the top 3 items you want me to pay attention to today? You don't have to resort your 25 items every single time. Just say, okay, what are the 3 things that we want to do today? And are you going to, what are the stakeholders? Who are the stakeholders? We tell that the other things are dropping off the list.
Right.
And just be transparent with everything you do. And the other thing that I recommend to my clients is to remember that all the must-dos will get done. That doesn't mean you have to be the one that's doing it. If it's really important and you can't do it, they're either going to find somebody else to do it, or it doesn't get done. If it doesn't get done, it doesn't meet the criteria of must do. So that's one suggestion.
Very true. And I think too, a lot of people get overwhelmed when they have stuff coming from multiple directions. So it's not always just your manager walking in and saying, could you please do this? So when you find yourself in a situation where maybe multiple people are giving you things that don't even know about each other in some cases, or just, stuff happens, right? You're working away and you come across things that have to get dealt with. It's important to go back to your manager or who's ever helping you set those priorities and say, look, I've just got so much stuff and I don't know where the priorities lie on how to sort this out, so can you help me? And do that on a regular basis.
Exactly, because your manager may know that, hey, this person B's issue is very hot because their client plays golf with the executive every week. He doesn't want the issue to get in front of the executive. So he has a piece of information that you don't have. So you work with your manager and be transparent.
Yep. I think there are times too when you just have to kind of do it. I mean, you're going to have to recognize those. And what I always tell people is there's going to be spiky stuff. There's going to be spiky efforts required. But if that's a sustained thing, or if that's happening frequently, something is kind of out of whack, I think, on the priorities and on the workload. And that's when you really need to bring it up and go, I don't mind putting in the extra time when there's a project that hits the fan, but I need to also be able to know that my weekends in general are my weekends, or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, that's important.
And I would recommend, when you're doing your project management scheduling, you project manage for 6 hours a day, 5 days a week. Okay?
Yep.
And then that gives you buffer to, absorb a few emergencies along the lines, and you can absorb once in a while, some what did you say, those infrequent, having to work the weekends.
Right.
But if you're scheduling your project with, working 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, you don't have that buffer to accommodate those emergencies.
Yeah, you'll have a really tough time if you're scheduled that deeply into the time. Yeah, it's going to be really tough, really tough. Well, great counsel. Thanks a lot for being back on the show. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to next time.
Thanks, Steve.